Hi, thank you, Dr. Cloud, and thanks for taking my question. So, how do I tell my best friend that I'm in love with him? I want to take a risk, but I want to consider all the factors before doing so and decide if it's worth the risk. And how in the world do I decide?
Well, we could get him to call in right now and I could split the screen and, I could break it to the boy. Um, so tell me a little, I love this story. Tell me a little bit about it. You say he's your best friend. How long have you guys been friends?
Well, he was my client first. I'm a web developer, and so I had never met him, but I did work for him for like 3 years. And then a couple of years ago, his dog
Was he
got
long
sick
distance
so
or
bad.
something? Was he long
Yeah,
distance?
but he was, but not anymore. Yeah, he was. And so
Did you
he just
stalk
like
him and
lived.
move to his town?
No, I didn't stalk him. I didn't
How'd you
tell me
end up
the
in the same
time.
town?
Well, we were already both in the Atlanta area, but if you've ever been here, it takes like an hour and a half to get from one side to the other.
It does. If
So,
you go, all I do when I go to Atlanta, I just go to Max and eat 24 hours a day. But so you you knew him from work, y'all were trading emails and web designs and all this, and then you met him. How long ago
no,
was that?
well, actually, we became friends because his dog got sick and he was late for an appointment, and he called and was upset, and so we started talking, and
Wait a minute.
so that
Who
went
so,
on
well,
for
hold on a second. Who got sick?
my friend's dog. He loves his
This
dog.
this friend's dog?
Yes, this friend's dog.
Okay, and I gotta get this right. We gotta go fast. We
Okay,
gotta go fast. Look,
right, sorry.
you're working on this web design for 3 years. Then he's got a
Yeah.
sick dog, and so you meet him because of the sick dog.
Uh, no, we became friends over long distance, and I fell in love with him long distance, and I didn't meet him for about, I guess, about 6 months after we became friends. And
And how
now,
long ago is that? How long ago is that?
um, a year and a half.
So you've been friends for 2 years now,
Yeah, yeah,
total.
yeah.
All right. And there's never been any kind of like anything other than a friendly feeling.
Um,
I mean,
well, he told me
in
he
the
loved.
dynamic.
Um, he's never done anything non-platonic, let's say.
Well, he hasn't done anything, but has there ever been that kind of like mutual kind of tension, dynamic, flirty,
I thought so. I
huh?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. He told me he loved me before I did and before we ever met, but he never qualified it. So I misunderstood.
Well, has he never taken any kind of indication that he's gonna that love means more than my sister?
No, he started calling me his sister when I told him I loved him too. He said, I love you like a sister.
Okay, so
So
he's already defined it.
he did.
All
Doesn't
right.
make it easier though.
Well, none of this is easy,
No.
but I'm just trying to look for some indication of why you would think this may have a possibility.
Because his actions are, I guess, in my experience, are more than a brother and sister. Not anything romantic, so to speak, but just the way he puts me above everything else. He has a girlfriend, I should tell you. And he
Oh, Carolyn,
and
now that might have
it's
been
even
a
worse.
little piece of information I needed earlier.
Sorry. Well, he had one and he broke up with her and he's seeing somebody again already, but he never talked. We talk about everything. I know how this man clips his nose hairs, but we never
Boy,
talk
that's a
about
lot of that's
dating.
essential information right there. So
I
wait a minute, hold on, stop. There's way more information that we need than that. So look, he meets you, he's got a girlfriend, he loves you like a sister, he says. He breaks up with his girlfriend, and then he gets another girlfriend.
Yeah, but he never told me he had a girlfriend until I moved closer and I would have found out. So
Well, then
it's like
you're taking that as a good sign. That kind of sounds duplicitous, maybe. So what? You're
yeah,
just wondering. You're just wondering. So he's got a girlfriend now?
I don't know. He doesn't tell me. I met her. He's seeing someone. That's all I know. I don't know.
Carolyn, do you realize? And my sister here. I'm trying to help you, right?
Thank you.
Do you know how many contradictions already exist in this thing that you've just told me about?
Yes.
You got a best
what
friend. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hang on a second. Best friend that you've only known 2 years. That's can happen, but it's rare. Best friend usually are longer than that, but that's fine. But best friend that's in 2 relationships that you don't know about, that's a big contradiction.
Yes.
So I don't know how you call him a best friend, because if my best friends had 2 significant relationships, I'm wondering what percentage of them is really my friend, right? They hadn't even shared this. And so then he's already defined that you're a sister, but he's somehow given, well, you said he did. Here's another contradiction. You said he's given non-platonic fumes, but he's never acted non-platonic.
Yes. This is my confusion. And he's not duplicitous. He is I don't know how to explain it better than just to say that he tells me when he likes someone, he has a hard time telling them and things like that. So he's very
well, he didn't have a hard time telling these other 2 women.
You see, so it's like all these contradictions, and I'm like, I feel like I can't figure out what to do, but it's not healthy to me. It's not healthy.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not at all.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand. When you say, so I'm confused. Well, I've been listening for however many minutes, and I'm not confused at all. I'm very, very clear of what I'm seeing. Very clear. Now, here's what you have to figure out. It could sound, what you got to figure out is it worth risking this best friendship to go into this other realm? Because absolutely, you do put this at risk. There are times when this, and I know many cases, there are times where this recovers, and there are times where it doesn't. And that's why I said you don't bet the farm. I hope you have other best friends if you're going to go this route. Right? I mean, do you have a safety net of people you're processing this with, or is he the center of your relational universe?
No.
What do they say?
No, I have. They say he's in love with me, but I keep saying it's not right to tell him while he has a girlfriend or he's seeing someone.
Wait a minute. It's not right to tell him that he's in love with you because somebody else told you to tell him?
No. It's not right for me to interject.
Oh, for you to tell him.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I don't know about that. No, seriously, I don't know about that. I don't. That you can. There's times when it is and times when it isn't. One of
Yeah.
my best friends that's been married for. He's older than me, and they have the most beautiful marriage and family, and they've been together for what 50 years plus. They had
Mhm.
kind of been friends and gone out a few times, and then he wanted to pursue his career and wasn't quite ready, and she went off and she's engaged to a guy,
Oh
and he
wow.
comes back home and he hears it, and he had just decided he was coming back home to tell her that he was in love with her, and his mother tells him this, and he says, "I got to go," and he got in the car and he drove over there, and he said, "I got to tell you something." Well, they're married 50 something years. So I don't know if it's
Uh,
always a bad thing.
well,
They're not
tell you
married.
one thing.
But look,
Let-
what?
I was going to say, let me tell you one thing that might be helpful to you. One of the
Oh
clues that he
gosh, here
gave
we
me.
go. Now you're gonna drop
It's
another
short.
bomb. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so just
He's a polygamist and has 3 wives and 14 kids. Is that what you're gonna tell
no,
me now?
no. But the things that he does, one of them is he added me as a beneficiary of his life insurance policy. This is the kind of thing he does. This is why I'm confused. I don't know if that helps you kind of see the picture anymore, but there's lots of stuff like that.
Lots of
He
stuff like that.
tells me,
Lots of stuff like
yeah,
that. Has he
his
put
girlfriend was,
sperm in a
yeah,
sperm bank and reserved it? I mean, what does lots of stuff mean?
yeah.
Look,
Well, his girlfriend, when I first found out about her, um, he introduced us, and he said if she didn't have a positive reaction, she knows. He said she knows how important I am to him, and it was a deal breaker for him if she had a problem with me. And I was like, so that means I'm more important than her? Because that's not right. That's not a good. I'm so confused.
You said that?
Huh? No, I didn't
You,
say I
you,
was confused.
no, I don't. I can make that. I can make that okay. If he's dating somebody, one of the ways you vet somebody when you date them is you bring them back to the farm. That's why I said the farm, the farm, the farm. You don't bet the farm on this. If
Yeah.
if I got a long-standing relational community and start dating somebody and there's not a fit, that's a bad sign. So I don't necessarily fault him for that. Look, here's what you got to figure out, and this is your decision, but this is the way I would say it.
Mhm.
If you want to put this at risk, and it may not be putting it at great risk, but it is a big risk. Here's what I would say. You know what? We're close, and you say a lot of things that kind of are almost contradictory in a way to me. You say you love me like a sister, and yet you treat me like I'm almost like the main woman in your life.
Mhm.
And in that process, sometimes I wonder, is there a possibility that we could be more than that or different than that? Have you ever thought about that? I think about that. I'd say sometimes I
Mhm.
wonder what it'd be like if we were more than friends. Do you ever think about that?
Mhm.
Because if you do, I'd like to talk about it. But if you don't, it'd be good to know that because it's a thought that I have and I can just banish it. We'll be friends.
Oh, I love.
That's probably the way that I would say it.
Oh, that's perfect.
But I'm gonna tell you something. If he does
Yeah.
go that route, you got some as a you where does that line come from? You got some splaining to do. I, so I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna send you and gift you. Albie is gonna get your number here. I want you to listen to the How to Get a Date Worth Keeping webinar that we have. Because I think if you go to boundaries.me/dating, the rest of you can find that. There's a bunch of stuff in here that'd be good to look at. Carolyn, thank you so much for your call. I talked about risk. I think there's a lot of vetting. If he said, "Well, I have thought about that," I'd have some questions. Well, I got some questions. Sit down. You got to answer some questions. How come you never told me that you had a girlfriend? Why were you slow about that? How come you never told me about the second one? Now he may say, because I was kind of keeping you on the other burner. Well, then that can be a good sign or not. Well, how come you just didn't tell me? Well, I didn't, and just kind of like he's got some splaining to do, and that's more of vetting him. Frankly, I think this thing is fraught with a lot of contradictions and risk. And what I would do is, if you enter into this, which would be fine, that's why we date somebody to get to know him better. I would want to see a less compartmentalized life from him where things start to make sense before you get serious. Good luck with this one. Call me back. Call me back, Carolyn. I want to hear more about this.